Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Coming to you live from our comfy couch here on the outskirts of the internet. This is the Gaming Saloon Reviews for May 25th, 2020. With your host, Beastmaker2448, and Ramp It Up Salon.
Hi.
You know, I saw someone on Twitter bring up a really good point about all of these buffer episodes we've gotten for 01 and how they may have not actually affected the schedule of Ryder.
Okay.
You know how we were supposed to have the Olympics this year?
Oh.
Yeah, they were going to be in Japan this year. Guess whose broadcast was probably going to get interrupted by the Olympics for probably about 4 weeks.
Oh, but we'll still have golf.
Yeah.
That almost always happens.
But yeah, like, seeing someone bring that up, I'm like, holy shit, you're right. They probably just bumped this up. Yeah. They probably it does interrupt like the filming of the movie, but apparently Care Major's movie is hiring freelance people to work on it at the moment. So if Care Major's movie is going ahead into production, that means 01's would as well, because they'll be there'll be a double feature when it comes out as normal, assumingly. Since the Sentai movies are only like an hour-ish. They're like 2 episodes with a lot of budget put into them. Hey, Charizard. So yeah, 01 might not have episodes cut off from it because they plan for Olympics, and oh look, we have to move all these plans we made for Olympics up, which would also explain why none of the main toy lines have been interrupted so far.
To be fair, it also explains why they were so ready to jump over to this. Because I feel like it probably didn't put them in a bind doing the clip shows, because they were probably already gonna do something like that. It was more the time frame kind of got jumbled around.
Yeah. Also, I love how Discord is trying to snap in half on me. Oh no. It's gonna be one of those nights.
Oh no.
God damn it.
I mean, I can try something, but this is a gamble on whether or not that it might just snap completely in half for both of us then.
I was about to say, I was just going to restart Discord on my end.
1 second. Did that snap it in half on your end?
No.
Did it
Doesn't
fix
look like it? Maybe. I think we might be fine.
Might be Discord servers then.
Probably. I saw Discord and was having like issues sometime last week when we were not going to stream, and I'm like, oh goody! It happened when we weren't going to stream. Thank God. Yeah, because technically Care Major would be debuting a 6 Ranger right now, but it's not coming out till June. And I think that's the only delay that's happened. Maybe. So hooray! This is technically a planned buffer, but not for what we were expecting. Yay.
Yeah.
I still haven't watched the episode for this week.
I haven't either.
I'll see who subbed it and download it tomorrow and see if there's anything worth watching.
I mean, I'll probably watch it anyhow. But yeah, I don't foresee anything of importance being there.
Nope. But what is of importance is 71 Rider. We're at 5 through 8 at the moment. And we have our first two-parter? And like the first two-parter ever in the franchise, and it feels weird to be like, hey, here's the first two-parter, and it involves buried Nazi gold.
Mm-hmm.
Is it weird that I knew about like a thing in these two episodes before I watched the series, and I was like, isn't there this thing that happens in the series? And I hit the episode and I'm like, oh hey, this thing I knew about from the original series, which makes no sense in context. Because Hongo has teleportation powers, apparently. I think. I
feel like you're right.
Like, I don't know how his plan came about in this latter half. And it's on top of a confusion about another plot point, but we'll get there because you got anything to want to talk about before we hit the recaps?
Nah.
All right, then we will kick off with episode 5, Monster Mantis Man. We're at a local earthquake research facility where I guess the only staff member on call at the moment, Chiako, answers the phone to talk about this place to someone who just hangs up on her after answering some questions. And I have to go, why did someone call you to ask these questions and then hang up on you? Like, I assume it's Shocker, right?
Maybe.
But, like, wasn't that their plan to, like, either distract her with it or to call in and be like, hey, are you a really good earthquake research facility? Because we need someone who's really, really knowledgeable about earthquakes for our plan to succeed. So, are you? Yes? You know what you're doing? Cool. Cool. Cut the lights on her. If not, walk away and we'll let her believe it's a prank call. But yeah, as I said, it's all a distraction so Shocker's latest creation, a mantis monster, can sneak in and kidnap her because their scheme involves detonating nukes underground to cause earthquakes? Okay, hang on. You are detonating nukes underground to create earthquakes.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can make something better happen. I think you can do more with those nukes than just make earthquakes. Shocker.
I mean, I'm gonna say this. You're correct in saying that Shocker is far more competent than we have seen as far as recent Rider goes. But they still have their dumb moments.
Yeah, they kind of do. Anywho, we cut over the Hongo and Tachibana as they are practicing for a race that we aren't seeing in these 4 episodes, so but an earthquake hits, and Hongo gives us the lesson of the day about earthquakes. And they find it kind of suspicious because a bunch of earthquakes have happened recently, but it's Japan. That's probably not a super big deal. I think Japan's near a fault line, so it's like, oh, earthquakes happen. Well, it's not like super suspicious. Anyway, over at Amigo, Hongo is informed of his old friend Chiako, the earthquake researcher, has disappeared, which tips him off, and as I will say it later, it makes his Shocker senses tingle. Because I swear Hongo has Shocker senses of just like, this is the Shocker plot, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. You noticed that too, I see.
Yep. So then we more or less kind of pseudo montage our way through Hongo investigating this. So apparently he went to the facility, found some cells that suggest, hey, a shocker goon probably kidnapped her, and it's a mantis one. That's strange. And then he like puts together a map of all these recent earthquakes, and it's like, they all are happening near a city. That's suspicious. Eventually, he just straight up gets called by Chiyoko to come rescue her, but Mantis is manipulating her to do this by threatening her, even though, as we find out later, he didn't need to do that. Is this just for us? Is this for just for dramatic purposes?
It feels like it.
Anyway, Hongo heads out to where she is, finds her, and she ends up directing him to some large shaft buried in the ground, and she ends up pushing him in, and he is proceeded to be left to die through bomb explosion that the Mantis Band has left hanging kind of into the shaft a little bit, not very far.
Of course, to be fair, it doesn't look like the shaft is that deep either.
No. Thankfully, creative shots ensure that we don't show that this hole is like 4 inches deep.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's more than that. It's deep enough for him to fit in. And that's it.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, Hongo can't jump out of it because of too high. And he can't get enough wind to transform, so the bomb goes off. But the explosion gives him enough wind to transform, which allows him to survive the explosion and jump out.
Because reasons.
Because his transformation is like a half a second, so he gets to not die from the explosion, I guess. That also doesn't come out of the shaft when he jumps out, but whatever. We ain't got the budget for that. we ain't got the budget for some of this shit. We just gotta roll with it. Anyway, once he's out, he has to fight some of Mantis Band's goons, and he uses that opportunity to grab Chiyoko and just run, because I don't feel like fighting you with her around, so bye. Mantis is ordered to get the girl back, and he ends up starting his search at Amigo because, of course, he would. I don't think Hongo hangs out anywhere else at this point besides like the university.
Yeah. I feel like we have like a few sets, and that's one of them.
More or less. We have the one shocker set that we just rotate like backgrounds out of to ensure. I like that the shocker hideouts are kind of personalized to reflect the monster. I also have to go, that is a lot of budget for not really a whole lot. Because it's like 2 walls that they change out.
Yeah. But I have to wonder if they might be like green screen or something.
It would be very obvious if they were green screened, to be honest.
I mean, true. But it's not super... They're not super detailed either, so that makes me wonder if that might be the case.
I think it's just a wallpaper they change out on the wall.
I mean, that would make sense too.
I unfortunately, their green screen budget has to go into Hongo's transformations and stuff. That is where all our all our green screen budget goes. Anyway, we catch up with Hongo, who has Chiyoko at his place, because that's a smart idea, I guess. And him and Haruko are looking after her. Hongo does a little bit of reminiscing about his past with Chiyoko before she talks about Shocker's plans in her sleep before she wakes up and then plays dumb. And by dumb, I mean She's under mind control because she no-sells the fuck out of watching a fight scene and here in 5 seconds. Anyway, after she decides to not give any more information, Mantis shows up and fights Hongo, who doesn't transform because apparently Ruriko's in the room. Ruriko knocks herself out on air, I think. Because, like, she kind of runs into this bookshelf that's next to a wall, but she doesn't really bounce off either one of them. So she knocks herself out with air, I guess. And Hongo sells being hit by a lamp by her in order to be knocked out. Which, again, makes me go, does Mantis not know that you... I mean, he has to know. Does he know that, like, you probably can, like, no-sell a lamp being broke over your head?
I mean...
Because I'm pretty sure you can.
Yeah, I'd say.
So Mantis takes Kyoko away, but thankfully, Hongo put a tracker on her. That's about watch-sized, and no one seems to notice the blinking light on it. The nice, bright, red blinking light on it.
That only blinks when the camera looks at it.
More or less.
Because, like, I noticed that, but then in the scene you can't see it. And it's like, sure.
Well, Hongo's, like, end of it also blinks bright red, but I figured, like, him is blinking bright red is to give him, like, a cardinal direction to go off of. Like, oh, it's blinking at, like, 12 o'clock. That means north. But I don't think it changes at all, so I'm putting more thought into this than their budget probably allows for.
Probably.
Anyway, at the base, they start their plan of, like, properly detonating a nuke underground to cause an earthquake, to cause chaos, and I guess sweep in and solve the problem or take advantage of it or something. I don't know. They don't get into their plan after they cause a massive earthquake with a nuke. But Hongo ends up tracking them down, and Mantis comes out of the base to delay Hongo to only head back and for Hongo to still get there. So I don't know why we had that fight scene in the middle of this, other than to have a quota of fight scenes. But Hongo still tracks into the base and takes out Mantis and his goons with a rider kick, and they're done. And the switch, which was in an egg for some reason. Why was it in an egg? Why was the break glass in case of emergency an egg?
Yeah.
This is one of those episodes that I'm like, does someone with, like, no knowledge of the Showa era just watch this episode and that's all their knowledge of the Showa era? Because I'm like, okay, the kooky corniness of the Showa era is very prominent in this episode. But it feels like the oddity out of the 5 so far that we're talking about. For now.
Yeah. Like, I hope this isn't a recurring theme kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
But yeah, Rider Kick sends Mantis home. He stops the earthquake from happening, and he takes who's been unconscious this entire time, Kyoko, away, and he hopes that all this is just a bad dream for her. So yeah, we'll go halfway on the 2-parter before stopping. It's like, crap, we're in the middle of two-part. Oh, well. Anyway, episode 6, Grim Reaper Chameleon, the first of our two-parter. We check in with an old Japanese soldier from World War II who is being kidnapped by a chameleon man so they can find out where a bunch of Nazi gold is buried. Ladies and gentlemen, this is in fact the plot of our two-parter. Just straight up, this is our plot. And I'm like, wow, you just go all in on like all the imagery and stuff for Nazis. It's just like, damn. I don't think you could get away with this on television, even in America at this time.
Not now, no.
No, not even back then, I don't think.
Maybe. But I doubt it.
I don't think you could splash the swastika on screen as much as it was done in these two episodes.
That's why I'm like, maybe, but I doubt it. Kind of deal.
Yeah. So yeah, that's our plot. And Chameleon ends up knocking him out and kidnapping him. And deciding to just walk him down the street while he's invisible, which is the least suspicious thing he could do, I guess. Sir, do you not have a car? Is Shocker taxi service not available in that area? God damn it. The show has so many weird things so far, and I'm like, I can't help but smile at these, but these are also bonkers. Because the whole reason this happens is because the girls and the one bartender guy at Amigo, who I don't know the name of, because I don't think his name has been said in the series yet.
I feel like you're right.
End up bumping into this guy and seeing Chameleon's shadow along with this guy, and it freaks them all out, and they run back to Amigo. Only for Hongo and Tachibana to be told about this, and Hongo immediately goes to investigate because Shocker senses are tingling. This must be a Shocker plot. So as he investigates, he manages to track them to where this guy's daughter is being treated at the hospital for leg injury of some kind. They never specify what she's in the hospital for, I don't think. Also, we get another moment of somebody punching someone to wake up. Because the chameleon guy punches the soldier to wake him up. And I'm like, why are you punching people to wake them up? That's not how that works. Punching is not an on-off switch for people. It's an off switch, and it's only an off switch. God damn it.
But it's supposed to be punch on, punch off.
Anywho. Hongo does track them down, fight them for a bit, and they use the Undertaker teleportation method to leave. Because lights off, they all leave. Lights come back on. Everybody's gone. Oh no, where do they go? I'm going to make every fucking wrestling reference I can make with this series so far. It doesn't help the time period is perfect for old school wrestling references. But anyway, since the daughter is safe, we find out that a model boat she has the location of a lockbox, which apparently is at some dig site some people were working at, and they got scared off by something. I don't remember what they got scared off by.
I don't remember either.
Yeah. But yeah, Hongo's there. He picks up the lockbox, and Chameleon's keeping an eye on him because why not let the hero do all the work for us? It's fine. They're going to go find it anyway. We'll just steal it from them at the last second. Like, now, when Shocker Goons attack Hongo, and he quickly deals with them and leaves. But back at base, Chameleon recaps Hongo's capabilities, which is so weird because it feels like, oh, this is here as exposition, isn't it, for us? Since I guess we haven't really gotten into what Hongo's capable of, kind of. Except for that one time we did. It feels so weird. But he's like, I must think of a way to kill him, because fuck him. Might as well kill him now. So he's doing that. While we check in with Hongo, who's over at the university to figure out a way to open this lockbox that apparently is like sealed shut in some steel box that apparently can survive a nuke being dropped on it, which, okay.
Yeah, if you say so. Kind of deal.
Yeah. He ends up leaving it with a friend, and he and Ruriko head to the hospital to look after Joel. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, their taxi is a part of the Shocker taxi service, and they're immediately gassed and knocked out by Chameleon. I kind of want Shocker to just have a whole bunch of different brands and stuff that they just use for shit.
You know, that could be the representation going forward in Rider.
Yeah.
Just randomly, they're in various different jobs.
And the joke is, none of it is malicious. It's just like, shit, we kind of don't have a job because our bosses are dead, so here you go.
Yeah, that would kind of be funny.
Anyway, two of them are tied up and left on train tracks to be run over, as villains do. Unfortunately, Hongo breaks out and saves them. And Chameleon leaves to go back to the university to get the box. Which they do by attacking Tachibana, who proceeds to do the job again, because I feel like Tachibana is only here to either give advice to Hongo, which he hasn't really done yet, or job out to a Shocker goon of some kind.
Yes.
But after they steal the lockbox and try to run away, Hongo just hitmans his way into the goons, because he just grabs one of them, changes into their costume, and applies the face paint while he's at it. Which, okay, that's why I call it headband, because it's just like, well, I just put this on and all the other stuff goes with it. All right, cool. Just gonna tag along with them to get intel. So at the base, they go over how to open the box, which is hitting it with some special frequency and it pops open. But unfortunately, the goon calls for a taxi. So Hongo is now revealed to be in their midst. And when he tries to fight, he is immediately dropped in the pit, and he is going to be attempted to be crushed in the next episode, as we end there. So how'd you feel about our first two episodes here?
I feel like I'm still at the point of I see the lack of tech there kind of deal, and some of the times I'm just like, wow. But
yeah.
Other than that, I feel like this is the storytelling that Rider needs kind of deal. Because sometimes we miss it. Looking at you, Ghost.
Yeah. Like, we still have an overall plot going on. It's not a very complicated plot, and it's more just a case of Hongo wants to take out Shocker. Shocker wants to take out him. Let's see who wins this week.
And I mean, I feel like too, the two-parter arc is good and all for telling bigger stories, but in all seriousness, how many two-parters could have been simplified into a one?
I can think of one directly from Double. And it's the pair of episodes nobody likes. And And it's also one of the early ones because it's the Heaven Tornado episodes.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of the weakest episodes of Double overall.
Yeah. But I'm even excluding like the bulk of Double for that.
Yeah.
Look at how many two-parters are just not needed.
Yeah.
Because we spend way too much time talking and not getting stuff done.
Mm-hmm.
Now, granted, I also feel like sometimes it almost feels like with Ichigo we kind of have a little bit of the opposite problem. Instead of having too much talking, sometimes it feels like we've got too much action.
A little bit, yeah.
And not enough explanation.
Yeah, we could
Like, I feel like there needs to be an in-between, but I kind of like each episode's a new story concept more so than the two-parter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we could use a little less punching, a little bit more talking, which is a weird thing to say about Writer, but oh well, this is where we are.
It's one of those. It needs the in between.
Mm-hmm.
But otherwise, I'm liking Ichigo far better than Ghost.
Oh God, yes. I'm going to regret us getting to the end of the series. I'm like, I really like this series, and I'm immediately eyeing the Shadow X sets. That is literally like all versions of Ichigo, I believe, that will be hitting throughout the series.
Oh wow!
Plus, yeah, the original Ichigo, the original Nigo, the in-between Ichigo form will hit at some point in the series, and then Ichigo's original bike, which we've been seeing so far. And then the third set is the current versions of Ichigo and Nigo, a Shocker Rider, and then the proper, like, new bike that we've seen in recent movies, and a Shocker version of it for the Shocker Rider. Which I don't know if that Shocker Rider comes with all of the different bandanas to do all the different Shocker Riders. Because there are multiple Shocker Riders. There's like 6 of them. All with their individually colored bandanas. Or scarves, or mufflers, whichever way you want to call them. Anyway, shall we keep rolling?
I guess so.
Alright, Episode 7, Grim Reaper Chameleon Duel, Site of World Expo. So as Hongo is being crushed, because he doesn't have enough room to jump, nor get a wind going, and he's running out of power on his transformation, which I like that they visually show that by the eyes blinking. We don't get enough light up eyes in this franchise anymore.
Yeah. That is
I understand.
A touch that's missing.
Yeah, I understand why, because to do it practically would really obscure what the suit actor can see, more so than usual. But yeah, we could use a little bit more CGI light up eyes in the franchise. But to bargain his way out of this trap, Hongo reveals that box is a fake, and only he knows where the real one is. So at some point, Hongo had a fake box made and swapped it out for the real one and delivered the real one to a completely different place. Okay, don't worry, this is gonna get more complicated.
Yeah, that's not the worst of it.
No. So they release Hongo so you can tell them where it is. But he only buys himself from being crushed because now he's going to be attacked by Shocker Goons. And since he's already burned his transformation for this half of the episode, he has to escape without transforming. But while he's trying to escape, he finds the soldier, and the two of them escape by breaking through the ceiling because Hongo thinks that there's a drain pipe above them because he sees the leaking water, but no, that's the lake above them. Hongo, did you not notice that you were near a lake when you drove in here?
Apparently not.
Because that was a bit dangerous. Ugh. Anywho. The guy is saved, and he explains that the gold was worth trillions, apparently, and was buried to ensure no one could get a hold of it. Because, fuck the Nazis. This is when Ruriko, of all people, arrives with Hongo's bike, literally his bike, so that him and the soldier can catch a ride back into town. But she can't, so she's stuck there waiting for a taxi, I guess.
Waiting for her shocker taxi.
More or less. At this point, we cut over to the place where the lockbox is said to be, and there's Ruriko with Tachibana playing decoy with the box to lure out Shocker. I guess there was a time skip here. The show doesn't really make a point of it, which is really weird. But they're waiting around, and later that night, Chameleon attacks and takes the box along with the two of them because, no, I knew it was you two. I'm taking you two with me because you'll be hostages. So at the base, they open the box, and it's empty because Hongo had the map already taken out and had it on him. And he wasn't at this place, so he's already ahead of them. But now he has to exchange the map for them at the World Fair, where they're being held the next day. So Hongo fights his way there by first sending his bike in to distract them so he can sneak up on them, and then fight his way up this tower, untransformed the entire time, mind you. And when he gets up there, Chameleon threatens him, and he doesn't transform because apparently Ruriko doesn't know he's Ichigo. I feel like that's wrong. Is that wrong?
Actually, I don't think it is. Because I was thinking, wait, that's wrong, but then I got to thinking about it more. No, every time he's transformed, no one has been able to see him.
Right, but like...
I don't think she actually knows.
Okay, that confuses me on like, okay, what does Ruriko think Hongo is doing to fight Shocker?
I get it. Don't get me wrong there. I completely get it. But, I actually don't think she knows that that's him.
Yeah. So, Hongo decides to take a fall off the tower in order to transform to come back up to fight them. But unfortunately, while all this has happened, Chameleon has gotten the map, and... Or no, he doesn't, he just leaves at this point. Right, I forgot. Hongo just leaves after transforming at this point.
Also, I want to point out something. And this will be noted for later. Hongo fell off of that building.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No one seems concerned that Hongo fell off the tower.
Oh, no, they did at the moment because they thought he was dead. We never get closure on that.
Yep.
We never get anyone ask, hey, what happened? Nope.
We get it next episode, but not this episode. When a similar situation happens. Anyway, Chameleon's gotten the map now because he got it off Hongo. And he continues to use the guys as hostages. Two of them as hostages. It's like, if the writer shows up, I'll try to use the hostages. So they end up going where the gold is buried, and it's just buried out somewhere with a cross sticking out of the ground. Which makes me feel like that should be the first place you investigated without the map to start with, but whatever. Anywho, they dig it up, they uncover the box, and there's Ichigo hanging out inside of it, waiting on them. And he pops out and starts fighting them.
In the box that was buried. Yeah.
How the fuck did Hongo get in the ground? Like, Tachibana is with Chameleon. So he couldn't have buried Hongo in the box. Because we find out that Hongo also dug this up earlier and threw the gold in the ocean. So who reburied the box with him in it? So he could pull this old surprise.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is what's made me. This is the part that was like, so Ruriko and Chico, not Chico, the other girl, I can't think of her name at the moment. They know he's Ryder, right? Because someone has to help him bury him here to do this. And like, Tachibana can't be the only one that knows he's a Ryder, right? Because he can't do it because he's over here.
Mm-hmm.
And Hongo can't bury himself. But anyway, Hongo proceeds to fight them and show off his sword fighting skills, which reminds me about someone who posted on forum of like, oh, I don't like the Heisei era because they all use weapons. Show writers never use weapons. Can I show you this episode and the next episode where Hongo clearly sword fights with his monsters? With weapons he stole, mind you.
Mm-hmm.
No, the show writers fought with weapons. And there's a few show writers with weapons. Because, you know, sometimes it benefits to have a weapon. Anyway, he fights them off. And he cleans house. And Chameleon ends up taking a rider kick and a rider chop combo. And I like that the rider chop ends with the lens on the camera being broken. Because you're looking at Hongo as he delivers the chop. Yeah. And we just smash cut to the party, that Amigo, to celebrate the daughter being released. And Hongo just leaves to go pet some stray dogs. That one of them appears in the next episode. And I'm like, did you adopt these dogs, Hongo? Like, I'm not going to tell you no because they're adorable. But did you?
Yeah, that kind of makes you wonder.
Yeah. And that's the end of the episode, which takes us to the first episode I'm blind on, episode 8, Strangeness Bee Woman. So we follow some guy and his daughter to a glasses store after this guy's glasses got broke by his daughter on accident. He gets a new pair. They're hanging out by a lake, feeding the local birds, whatever treats and stuff they have. Only for the father to be taken control by his glasses and told by the bee woman, who is our shocker monster this week, to go join Shocker. Okay. The guy starts walking away. Cesar tries to stop him. That doesn't work. But thankfully, Hongo is nearby taking a nap after reading a book. I also love that before she goes to him, you do see him in the background. So Hongo is just lying there sleeping, waiting for his cue. Anyway, Hongo tries to intervene, and it fails, but his chakra senses are tingling over this entire situation. I don't know why he didn't try harder, because, you know, he is a enhanced cyborg. I mean, just knock him out. Just conk him on the head, knock him out. take him somewhere to be looked at.
He didn't have a lamp nearby.
True. He had a book, though.
Yeah, he
I'm
could
sure that
have just
would've
hit him
worked.
on the shoulder with the book, and that would have worked.
Yep.
Because I also love the fact that that's how they're knocking people out. Not hitting them in the head, no, in the shoulder. I have noticed that, and I'm like, yeah, you could make that at least look like you're like hitting them in the back of the neck or something kind of deal. It's clear it's shoulder, and it's like, yeah, that would hurt. That's not going to knock him out, though.
Look, no one here is a trained professional wrestler, so no one knows how to deliver a chair shot to the back. No one. So, anyway, we cut to 3 days later, which apparently they've had no leads, and I don't know if they've called the cops or not at this point, because like it's worth calling the cops in on, but I guess not. They have no leads besides the store, and they've noted that a lot of customers going to that store have disappeared, which, seems suspicious. So Ruriko's off to investigate because Hongo can't go there because it's Hongo. As soon as he comes within like 5 miles of that place, they're like, nope, pack it up, we're leaving. Pack it up before he attempts to blow us up. Meanwhile, Hongo is testing for sounds because he heard some sound being emitted by the glasses. And I guess didn't notice the glasses were blinking either.
Apparently not.
Apparently nobody notices the big-ass, bright blinking lights on this thing. Anyway, he lands on some type of frequency because he's like testing what kind of like the range of sounds that could be heard with one of the dogs and trying to find some hidden frequency, and he ends up landing on it, and it's calling people to shocker. And he calls Ruko to warn her to not wear a pair of glasses, except she calls him wearing a pair of glasses. Attaboy, Ruko. Way to not think ahead on this one. Maybe don't put anything on you take from the potential shocker sunglass shop.
But I want to.
God damn it. Anyway, she's now under the control and she's led off the shocker base. Hongo does manage to follow them by following the owner of the shop to the base. And there we find out that people are either turned into extra goons because we're running out of those because Hongo keeps beating up a bunch of them, or they're disposed of for testing purposes, like testing some sort of gas that kills people. So Hongo walks in while they're testing, finds that out, tries to bust it up, but is prevented because Ruriko is more or less being held hostage on this. So he has to take a vial of poison in order for her to not be harmed. And he breaks something in his hand to, I guess, be knocked out for less time? I don't know what he broke in his hand.
I don't either.
Yeah. I assumed it was a vial of something to, like, make him not be murdered by this, or, like, be unconscious for super long. But they don't make a real big note of it. It's just like, oh, he broke something, and then his hand's scarred for, like, 5 minutes in this episode. Anyway, Hongo's knocked out. He's left to rot in the basement, but he wakes up, breaks out, takes one of the goons hostage to lead him to the other people. He ends up freeing everybody, including Ruriko. I assume Ruriko's just outside when he walks out, isn't he?
I think so, yeah.
Oh, okay. I'm just like, he technically didn't free her. She was just outside. Yeah, but he frees everybody as Ichigo. and he has to pull Ruriko away from the base because she wants to go save Hongo. But Ichigo says he did, and it's where I'm still confused about what she does and does not know about what's going on, but whatever. Anyway, I guess over somewhere, they find out that the father doesn't have any memories, so we're out of luck there. So we cut over to Amigo as Hongo and Tachibana are discussing things, and Ruriko's serving them drinks, only for Hongo to go, don't drink that. That's poison, I guess. And they find out that Ruriko is still being controlled, this time by a earring thing that is fairly large and is blinking, and I think Hongo would have noticed this before now.
I feel like this is just plot and just people not paying attention.
More or less. Like, I know Ruriko has like a bunch of hair to cover it up. I'm like, that thing is blinking. And also, Hongo, you can hear sounds. Did you not hear buzzing around her?
Apparently not until she went to give them the tea.
Yeah.
Because I know he said he heard it and that's what tipped him off. But to this, I'm going to say that thing obviously was doing that this whole time.
Yeah. So, with earring in hand, Hongo can now follow them to where Shocker is again, because I guess they moved bases. And he proceeds to clean house, and Ryder kicks the bee woman off a cliff, mind you. Just off a cliff, and she's just rolling down it until she, like, disintegrates. Because no monster explodes in this series.
Nope. Everyone that dies disintegrates to some reason.
Yep. And we cut over to the guy. He's recovered and fine. I guess Ruriko's fine as well. So day is saved. Yay! And so how'd you feel about our other half of our two-parter in this episode?
I feel like I can kind of understand why Modern Rider treats all the Showa stuff as if they're not the most intelligent.
Right.
Because I think it's misinterpreting the fact that just no one pays attention.
Yeah. Like, things have to happen in order to progress the episode. But, like, that happens in Rider currently.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what you're making fun of.
I have to think it's just because of how over the top obvious certain things should have been.
Yeah.
Because you can tell over the years they've figured out how to still do something very obvious, but do it in a way that it makes sense as to why the cast doesn't know, kind of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those that with this they don't have that fine-tuned yet, and you can tell it really badly. and yep. I think that's what's happened. Why, modern day Shocker is a complete pack of idiots.
Mm-hmm. Granted, I don't think they're the dumbest organization we've ever run into.
No. But they're up there.
I'm willing to give that to Zact.
Yeah. I'm willing to agree.
Mm-hmm. Also, there's something I know about this series, and I might as well talk about it now. You know how we have Nigo also from this series?
Yeah.
Do you know why Nigo was even introduced to start with?
Why?
Well, during production of the show, Hongo had a motorcycle accident, I believe performing stunts for the show, and broke his leg. So he couldn't be on the show anymore because he legitimately broke his leg. So we needed a second rider. And they were initially just going to have someone just replace Hongo entirely and just be just straight up the Kamen Rider. But instead, he's Nego. Guess when we hit that point in production?
When?
Episode 13.
Oof.
I didn't realize it was that early.
Oof.
Meaning in 2 weeks, we're going to say bye-bye to Hongo. Would you like to guess for how long?
Is it a stupid amount?
Depends on your definition of stupid.
Because, like, I would expect probably close to 10 episodes.
Nope.
More or less?
More.
Oof.
Try episode 40.
Oof.
I say again, Hongo broke his leg. Like, broke bones. That does not heal quickly.
Oh, I know that. But I figured,
Yeah.
they could come up with something before then, kind of deal.
Nope. Hongo misses just about half his own series.
Oof.
As he's busy in Europe. Quote unquote, busy in Europe. There's a reason Nego gets to have main writer status. It's because he had to carry the show for like 20 plus episodes while the other guy was recovering. I didn't realize it happened that early in the show and for that long was Hongo out of action. So yeah, 2 weeks. Say bye bye to Hongo. Well, actually,
quite
no.
some time.
Yeah, more or less next week's batch of episodes, which will be 9, 10, 11, and 12. That's our last full batch of Hongo for a while. So it's gonna feel weird of just being like, "Hey, we gotta introduce the main writer. He doesn't get to be main writer anymore. Here's the new guy. I hope you like him." But anyway, these 2 episodes were good.
Yeah.
I'm still liking this series.
I am too. It's one of those, though, that the more we're watching, the more I'm like, oof, I realize why Modern Shocker is portrayed the way they are.
Yeah. Someone didn't do their homework.
That, or, they might have pulled certain episodes kind of deal and looked at it and realized that, yeah, everyone's not portrayed as the smartest at all times, and it's like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, anything else?
No.
All right, then. Next week, like I said, 9 through 12. But this coming week, it is more XCOM, as we might be nearing the end game of that. We might be wrapping up the 3rd case. And whatever happens after it, happens after it. I don't know. I'm blind. I don't know what happens after you solve the 3rd case. I don't know if it's just a mission or if it's a whole 4th case worth of events and stuff. I doubt it's a 4th case. I assume it's just going to be a series of missions and be done. But yeah, going back to Odyssey to do moon hunting in my least favorite world. I kind of don't like Lakeside or Luncheon.
You mean Seaside?
Yeah, Seaside. I keep mixing up the 2 of them. It doesn't help that they're both water-themed worlds.
Yeah, and water worlds never go over too well.
No.
Especially in platformers.
No. I honestly kind of feel like if they cut Seaside and Luncheon, Odyssey would feel like a little bit better pacing wise.
I don't know. I kind of like Luncheon. Seaside and Snow, I might could see.
Yeah. I feel like we could use like 2 less worlds in Odyssey.
Because while Lake is a water kingdom, it doesn't feel as bad as Seaside. And I think it's just because Seaside is so big.
Yeah, it really is.
I mean, I get it. You want to utilize the cheap, but we essentially made a giant fishbowl with very little in between.
Yeah.
It's fun the first time you play it. After that, it's just tedious.
Yeah. At least Snow is more self-contained.
Yeah, but the big issue and the reason why I kind of said Snow ought to be the next one in line for being axed is the fact of you have to do so much to open Snow up.
True.
And in order to get to the point to open Snow up, you only have 10 moons to get, so you're not even putting a dent in the moons that Snow has.
Yeah.
Or, no, I think it's 12. Because the speedrun pretty much gets every moon that you can get in Snow.
Mm-hmm.
Granted, the newer route gets the warp painting moon as one of them, but I'm talking about before that.
Yeah. Also, doesn't the newer route like glitch into doing the race early?
Not any percent.
Oh, okay, that's darker side.
That glitch is world peace, dark, and darker side.
Okay. I wasn't sure because I saw Spike doing it, and I'm like, is that an 80% one?
No.
Because he's been doing darker side runs recently.
Because there's no reason to get that multi-moon for any percent. It actually takes too long.
Yeah, because that glitch looks like it's a pain in the ass to get working.
Well, even if you got it first try, the multi-moon itself, you're looking at a minute race, I think it is, on best timing, and that's just too much for 3 moons. Especially when you can get other moons quicker.
Yeah. There's that. More Cage 2. We're hitting Halloween Town and Agrabah next. So we get to go visit Santa.
And get Genie.
Yep. Again. And also, I'm trying to think if that's no, the return visit is the big Jafar fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, first visit is the fun dual boss fight in the plaza, which I could see myself dying on that one several times because it's really easy to get comboed by them. That boss is surprisingly dangerous. And then double podcast this weekend because it's TGS week. I think we have a state of play this week for Last of Us 2 that confirms it's not PlayStation 5. Kind of it. It's another slow week, folks. So another tier list.
And or Uno.
Yeah.
Because I would be perfectly fine with padding it with that at the end or something.
Yeah, we might do it at the end if we don't hit time. But anywho, that'll do it for me, for Tommy. Good night, everybody. We will see you next time.